I love to talk myths and stereotypes on this podcast too, and we talked about this briefly before I started recording, is, it's gotten better the last 5 years due to Instagram, but there are still, unfortunately, so many women that still have that fear that if they walk into the weight room and they pick up one weight, they're going to put on 50 pounds of muscle overnight. And first of all, if that does happen to you, give me a call, because I would spend my entire life savings just to talk to you and train with you once, because you have found the secret that almost every guy is looking for, and a lot of women are looking for too. Did you ever have that fear when you were getting started? Because I know that you were always healthy and active, but like you said, you never really did weightlifting. And even if you didn't have that fear, how do you like to respond to that now? Because I bet you hear that all the time from people.
It's funny because it used to bother me. My Instagram's really grown, especially because I did lift with 3 of my pregnancies. But now when I get those compliments, because I think it's a compliment, oh, you look so manly. I'm like, oh, look at my muscles. They must think they're big. But really, if people took the time to understand it, it's a pump. I mean, you have a pump. You're in the gym, your blood flow is going, and your muscles don't stay like that. I mean, you can see my arms, like, yes, I don't have a lot of fat on my arms, so they look a little leaner, but I don't walk around looking like Hulk Hogan. I wish, going on 8 years now, where's my big old huge manly arms. But if they really took the time to understand, it's just simply like right there in the moment you have a pump, and normally that's when you take your selfies and post them. If they saw me just around the house vacuuming or holding my babies, I don't look like that. Soaking wet, maybe 130 pounds. So now it doesn't bother me, and I really do take it as a compliment because I worked so hard for it. But back then, it did bother me a little bit. But I just try and tell women it's all about nutrition, supplements you're taking if you do choose to take them. And yeah, I mean, you can lift heavier weights, but you're not going to grow a beard, you're not going to sprout. Our chemical makeup is just not going to make us look like a man. We weren't designed that way. And unfortunately, I mean, we can work so hard, but we're just not our bodies just aren't designed like that. We can look good, but we're not gonna have. My husband's 6'2", and he could just go to the gym 2 days a week, and I'll be busting it every day, and he'll get the compliments. And here I am. They're like, oh, hey. So I just want women to just be okay with lifting weights. You're going to see good results, but you're not going to look like a man, I promise you.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm 6'3", so I totally understand where your husband's coming at too, where it's a little bit easier for guys, or I should say a lot easier for guys, where, just to be able to maintain and to grow, which I mean is unfair and unfortunate. But one positive thing that I think impacts especially women so much more than men is just that confidence boost that working out gives you. I mean, we have heard hundreds of stories on this podcast of how it's changed people's lives and helped them for the better. How have you taken that confidence boost that working out's given you and used that to impact your life?
A lot, really. I actually just did an Ashley Horner. I know you know Ashley Horner. I just competed. It's not competed. It's I entered into her 10-week challenge, and I felt, look wise, I thought I looked good before I entered her challenge, but mentally, I was in a hole, and so I entered the challenge because I really wanted to get out of the mental funk. And it was physically, it was a hard challenge. But at the end of the challenge, physically wise, I looked better, but that's not what it was about. It was like mentally, I felt so strong and so good. And I think that's really what it comes down to in any kind of physical activity. Especially when you get a woman into weightlifting, and they're in there and they're working hard and they're lifting weights and they're reaching goals and they're doing PRs or whatever. You just feel good from the inside out. It's not just about their physical appearance. It's about mind and body too. It's like, your mind feels good. So obviously you're going to feel good on the outside about yourself. And I think that's so important because confidence isn't about just like, oh, hey, look at my six pack abs. It's really, it begins on the inside. And for me, I'm raising two girls, and in today's world, um, I mean, it's like kids are so mean, starting at such a young age. I can just remember my daughter coming home in kindergarten and saying like certain kids were being mean to them. I'm like, kindergarten is starting that early. So I just, not just my girls, but my boys too, but especially my daughters, I want to raise them already having strong confidence within themselves. And and I want to be a good example for that too. And it's not just about beauty or strength, but like just glowing self confidence and kind of like standing your own ground. I don't know. I know I kind of ramble, but
keep rambling. It makes my job even easier.
but and I don't always want to follow the crowd. And another thing I'm proud of. My daughter's always Googling me. I'm nobody. I'm really nobody. But she's always Googling my name, and I've never posted anything on my Instagram to be embarrassed or ashamed about. Nothing raunchy or anything. And a lot of it is muscle related or fitness related. But I've always wanted where if my kids Googled or if anything popped up on social media, my kids would be proud of that. So I always want to just represent something good, show them, just be a good example, not just for my kids, but for anybody really.